Today's cake is a Halloween baby shower theme cake. Halloween cake for a baby shower, should I say. So it's based on Jack Skellington, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Mr. Jack doesn't appear himself on this cake, but Zero the dog does. Two of them actually, because the lady who is expecting, whose baby shower it is, has two little sausage dogs. So the person who organised the cake thought it would be a really novel idea to have two zeros to represent the two little sausage dogs, and they're guarding the pram with their life, waiting in anticipation for the baby to arrive. So the topper, this is a little cake board, you can just see, and what I've done is just trimmed the bottom of the cake board off and inserted some some wooden skewers into the board, and then pop them into the cake, and that holds it up really well because cake boards are light anyway. And then I've been able to decorate the cake board. I've sort of lined it with a yellow fondant and then used a circle cutter to make this pram. Added a little bit of detailing on, some wheels, a little handle, and it just sort of gives the illusion that the yellow is the background, and they're great to sort of do scenes on when you're doing cakes, to make your own fondant toppers. And then we've got the Hey There pumpkin, which is an acrylic cake topper, which I ordered, which is just cute, and it looks amazing against the yellow background. So I've just placed that just in front of that and into the cake. And then we've got, as I say, we've got the little zeros, which are made out of modelling paste, and his little pumpkin nose, two of those, and then these ever so cute little pumpkins that are surrounding the cake. So I've gone for the traditional orange colour and then a little bit of purple. Purple ties in with the frill on the pram, and orange and purple just scream Halloween, don't they? So the design on this one is a horizontal, I always get those two mixed up, horizontal for horizon, which is left to right. So yeah, horizontal lines going all the way around and up the cake. Let me see if I can spin this round and show you without damaging it. So at the back you can see we've got the seam where all the fondant strips line up. If you put them to the back, no one will ever notice. And what I did is I just ganached my cake as usual. Covered the whole thing in white sugar paste, or whatever colour you want your top to be, and then that gives you a nice smooth flat base to be able to pop your lines onto. What I did is I used just normal fondant, rolled it all out, cut my lines out. I used a ribbon strip cutter, and I left them to one side to set, to harden up just ever so slightly. Not too much that, when you go to handle your strips they crack, but enough to enable to, when you start building your lines up, they're not sort of super soft, and you're able to keep them fairly straight. So yeah, I left them to set. I did a light coating of just water onto the fondant to then adhere these onto with. I mean, it is you have to take your time to get these lines straight. And if you just use, when you pop one on to start at the bottom, and you can line it up with the board to give you a straight edge. And if you just go around with a ruler and just sort of just tap around the top just to make sure it's super straight, and then you can pop your next line on top of that one. And again, just go around making sure it's all straight, because we know fondant, it's not hard, it's soft, so it does have a tendency to droop in little areas. But you know, a tip, if you let it just harden ever so slightly, I mean, even, I was going to say use modelling paste, but then that would be really, really hard for when you came to cut the cake. Yeah, don't use modelling paste, because that would just make the cake impossible to cut. Maybe if the fondant you work with is really soft, you could add a tad of Tylose powder just to help stiffen it up slightly. But as I say, I've just used straight fondant for this. Left it 10-15 minutes or so that it's easier to handle and a bit stiffer to enable you to do the lines. So that's quite an easy, once you know how, method of doing the lines up and down the cake. But the effect overall is just, sends your eyes a bit funny, doesn't it? But this one's all come together so beautifully. Absolutely in love with it. The little pumpkins are just balls of fondant, and then I've used a modelling tool just to indent the sort of darker lines, and then just pop some little detailing on. And then I've just gone around with some brown edible dust and just shaded in, just to highlight the darker bits. Popped a little bit around the top. These are just little bits of rolled little sausage, long thin sausage shapes of fondant, and just rolled together and twisted, and then popped on the top. Zero there. And this topper at the back, which, as I say, is fantastic. You know, it's such a great way to make your own toppers, and to be able to create a sort of standing scene. And working on them is great, because you could just leave it flat while you're working on them, let it dry, insert some wooden skewers or whatever into the bottom, making sure that you've just cut a little bit off just to level it with the cake, and that's the result. Hello Zero, waiting for baby to arrive, or hey there pumpkin. So that's the Jack Skellington Night Before Christmas inspired baby shower cake, and it's a big one today. It's a huge 8-inch round and about 8 inches tall, even more so with the topper on. Bit of a centerpiece, this one.